I'm at 222 Wellington Street in Wallaceburg. We're upstairs at the Eddy. I'm with Kate, and I'm with Jana from All Ears, who's just a hop, skip, and a jump away, 204 La Fontaine. So we've just come across the street, and we're talking to Kate. Your two services can be intertwined and actually work really well together.
I was extremely excited when I learned that Into the Eddy opened, just because in the nature of my practice, I tend to see people who are dizzy, and they generally also deal with some chronic dizziness. You go to one healthcare professional to the other one, and you're trying to find answers. It takes time to see specialists. It takes time to get answers from your imaging or test results. And sometimes you're just not getting answers. So it can be very overwhelming. So I'm kind of at one point when a person encounter somebody, but not always I'm able to tell my patients that it's an ear and we can start working on getting them feel better. Often with this sort of experience, it's anxiety driven, it's stressful. So I like to start with breathing and just calming the system down. And I feel that that's where Kate can help us.
Yeah.
Kate.
Hi. Hi, Dana. So as you both know well, one of the wellness classes that we offer at the Eddy is breathing or breathwork classes. Right now we call them co-regulated breath. And sometimes folks wonder, why would I need to go to a class to learn to breathe, right? Why would I go somewhere else for this function of my body that is just something that it does automatically on its own? And what we're learning now, and really is relatively new neuroscience and science about the mechanics of breathing and the mechanics of our body and our fascia and where we hold and store trauma and memories, is that there's a lot of power in the breath. And we are born being able to breathe naturally, easily, and then through our life, through different stressors and through different experiences, that natural breath for all of us shifts a little bit and can impact then our overall well-being in lots of different ways. So our breath is this one tool that we can use and sink into that helps tell us, maybe how we're feeling in the body, maybe how we're feeling in our emotional self, within our nervous system. It is a powerful tool.
So it's recommended that you do this as a class. Like, why would we do this with other people and not just turn on YouTube at home and do it that way?
Exactly. So there is some beautiful science out there that shows us that when we co-regulate, right, when we regulate our nervous system with someone else, it produces the beautiful neurochemical oxytocin. And I know that's one that lots of folks are familiar with, right? And so if you can imagine that chemical being flooded through the body alongside feelings of safety, of relaxation, of rest, that then those feelings plus oxytocin means they're going to last longer, means they're able to penetrate deeper. They're going to be able to have better and more long-standing effects for you when you come out of that practice. So
when I did the breathing class here, I was glad that I was among other people because it got pretty intense. Like, there was things being released. I really didn't know what was happening to my body. So it was nice to have someone come over, touch my shoulder, kind of guide me through how I should breathe moving forward.
Right.
So I'm glad that I didn't do that by myself.
Right. Because it's an experience, and it's usually not the experience that we're anticipating either, right? Our breathing, when we do it really with that much intention, can cue up all kinds of things. So having someone, one that's trained, that can guide you safely through it, that's watching you breathe, that you're being held, right? That not physically, but they are holding space for you, right? And they're watching your process so that they can encourage you to slow the breath. They can encourage you to lengthen your exhales if you need to. Perhaps it's a gentle touch to the shoulder, right? To know that you're still with others and you're being guided, things like that. And hearing the sounds of those around you breathing, right? Through that similar experience. It's a beautiful experience. It's a very vulnerable experience. I won't lie, right? It's a strange thing to breathe really loudly. We're right. Even I would think about yoga classes and how we hold ourselves and how many times we're just like so conscious and aware of the space that we're taking up, and don't make too many noises, and don't be gross, and don't breathe too loud, and don't, right? All these things. When we hear others being vulnerable with us, and we see their struggles, and we witness one another doing hard things, right? Then we are emboldened, and we really become champions of each other.
Well, Kate, I feel that when I took your class and I was, 7 months pregnant, I felt very safe, and I felt relaxed, and it was a great experience.
Yeah, and that's actually a great point that you bring up. Like, who can do breath work? Breath work can be done for everyone, for the most part, right? But there are modifications that we can make in the styles of breathing that we do, and the tempos that we do, and how we do it, that really can be modified for everyone and their bodies and their experiences. And everyone's experience is going to be very different coming out of it, but we will all be regulated. Bottom line, right? We all come out of it in a state of regulated calm.
I don't know about you, but when encountering the stressful period in my life, I often find myself doing these shallow breathing and getting myself really pumped up with all these thoughts. And I find that when I actually start breathing deeply, it can help a lot. What sort of guiding exercises or techniques you would suggest to calm our system down?
So the first thing that we do before we want to calm it down is exactly what you said, is that we actually want to practice being aware of it. If you stopped right now, everybody, and just paused and felt for a minute without shifting or changing or trying to have big breath Olympics, literally just sitting and feeling where your breath is traveling in your body. Is it coming in the nose? Is it coming in the mouth? How is it coming in and out? Where is it traveling to? Does it have a temperature? How far into the lungs is it going? Most of us in our everyday state are breathing very shallowly, like you said. A lot of the times our mouths are engaged in it. Mouths are for eating. Noses are for breathing. Okay? So when we are breathing in and out of our mouth, it's up high in our chest, we are actually kind of slowly hyperventilating, right? We're slowly teaching our body that it's in a state of stress. And so the first thing to do is to be aware of how we're breathing so that we can shift it, right? So we're not going from little breaths to suddenly expecting to have big belly breaths, right? We're going to have to stretch it out. So the first thing we do before we do any kind of movement, right, is to be aware of how it is, and then we're going to stretch it, right? So we see where it is. There's a couple different breathing techniques that we can use. So one of my favorites is box breath. That's because I have a very busy mind. So for me, a lot of the folks that I see that come to services looking for rest, for help with relaxation, is because they have lots of tabs open all at once in their brain. And some of them are blinking, and some of them are singing, and some of them need more attention than others, and they're all going all the time. And so we use the breath as a tool to come very much into this present moment. And box breath is great because it shuts down all those tabs, because it's something that we can focus on in our mind. So you can imagine tracing a box in your brain. As we breathe, we're going to explore the four corners of the breath, really, right? So the inhale, what it feels like to hold that inhale, the exhale, and then what it feels like to hold that exhale. And just like a square has four equal sides, the breath is completely equal here. And we'll do it to a count of 4. So we would inhale, in, 2, 3, 4, hold, 2, 3, 4, out, 2, 3, 4, hold, 2, 3, 4. And we repeat that for 3 to 5 minutes, and that's going to state shift your nervous system. It's going to bring it to a beautiful state of calm where your body is able to rest and digest. It's going to, if you were, in a place of anxiety or worry, right, it brings us right here. It tells us in our mind and our body that we're safe, and you can continue to trace it around. I find it very interesting once we get into the pattern to explore and be curious. A lot of the times when we hold our breaths on those holds, we're holding it up high, and then we're holding tension in our body too, right? So it's this beautiful practice for the whole body to explore the breath and how the body feels as we work through that breath.
I love the visualization of the box. It sounds to me that it also gets our mind away from our thoughts and just help us to focus on something else. In my mind, it might be also great to mix it with grounding exercises and just feel the body to be ground with the floor if you're able to be on the floor or on the chair. Because again, in my type of field, you just feel unstable and you're feeling dizzy all the time. So if you're able to get that visualization out there, just focus on a box and forget about the worries about your everyday and have your body feedback that yes, you are safe, you're here right now and you're okay and you are going to be okay. Because oftentimes this is what we need to help to tell ourselves.
And to do it for more than a hot second too, right? So we are used in our culture, I think, to have everything be a very quick fix, right? I'm going to take this pill, I'm going to turn this thing on, I'm going to flick this, swipe this, whatever. It's all very fast. And so the breath is a really powerful and can be a fairly effective quick tool, but it also still takes more than one breath, right? So if we're going to do the box breath, like truly allow your body 3 to 5 minutes. One tool that I use also in addition to it is I love music. I love tempo. I love beats. And so I'll find some of my favorite songs that have similar tempos and I can breathe to those beats as well. And that's really helpful just to help, bring some intention to the breath or to stay focused or just to keep us here instead of our minds wandering away.
How often would you recommend to practice it? So not just how long should you practice it, but how often should you practice it to see the benefits for yourself?
Every day. Yeah, every day. And that's, nobody wants to hear that, right? But it starts though before practice, truly it starts with that mindful awareness. So before we even start shifting the breath, it starts with that awareness of, oh my God, I'm feeling stressed out. Where am I breathing? Oh, I'm feeling anxious. Hold on a second. Where am I breathing? And see how it feels and then shift it to right there. Start there and see how often we can notice that. And then I start every day with some big breaths. Everybody, can develop their own kind of practice that feels good for them. Sometimes I need active breaths. Sometimes I need some passive breaths, but really allowing them to be intentional, I think, is the purpose, is saying, I'm going to sit aside right here before I get out of bed today or before I make the kids' lunches or whatever it is, and I'm going to take 3 minutes now to breathe and see how that feels and give myself that and not be mad when my mind wanders, right? Because that's going to happen, but just to do that with intention and carving out space and time for it.
I think everybody is able to find 3 to 5 minutes of their life, especially when you know that it can make you feel better. So every day it's not such a bad thing if every day you can start feeling better and better as well.
I think it's important that we give ourselves time to practice breathing those kinds of breaths that, like the box breath or other breaths that are intentionally designed to calm ourselves in states of calm already, right? So we talk about our nervous system and these sort of memory muscles, I guess. In the real world, when our sympathetic nervous system is activated, we have to respond with stress in the moment of stress, right? So how many times and what opportunities are we allowing ourselves opportunities to practice the tools of de-stressing in non-stressful environments? I think that that's a really important piece is the actual practice of it, and knowing that we can, when we practice it, we are retraining those neural pathways and we're retraining our body and our whole nervous system to find calm.
And I agree. I think when I put it back to the dizziness, if you're having a good day and you're practicing a good day, you are ready when you're not having a good day because you practice it many times before, and now you know what you can do with your body when you're not really having a greatest time. It's been practiced. Well, we're really happy to have you here, and I'm sure that if somebody needs some guidance, that you would be a great person to be next to.
Yeah, we would invite anybody that wants to explore their breath and how it might impact, yes, feelings of dizziness, but other experiences around general mind busyness, other experiences of anxiety, anything that's going on that's pulling us in different directions. If we're struggling to find that present momentness, that mindfulness, if you struggle with meditation, if you struggle with those practices of quiet that you hear everybody's achieved their turbo zen from, but it's just not clicking for you, breathwork is a really beautiful practice because it engages the whole body and the mind all at once. So we would welcome anybody in for that.
It sounds like everybody would benefit from it.
The classes that you're holding here, what days do those run? How do I become a part of it?
For sure. So our classes run bi-weekly on Friday evenings for breathwork classes. We'll be having in the fall and winter other sort of special events and workshops that incorporate breathing and breathwork into them. As well, all of my holistic spa treatments incorporate breathwork as well. So massage, hot oil scalp treatments, all of those involve somatic experiencing and breathing as a component of it. But if you're looking for just classes, we do them every other Friday or night right now. And you can see the ongoing schedule and sign up for them on the Eddy's website. So it's intotheeddy.ca. And you can see all the classes there.
Okay, well, thank you both for enlightening us on breathing and how to help dizziness, anxiety, and everything that makes us uncomfortable just by simply doing what our body does best, breathing.
Thank you.